Okay, so today we will start with the final unit, which is number 6. Yesterday evening I published the material on the platform. I don't know if you had a chance to look at the platform. But anyway, I mean, let's have a look. I'm gonna open the booklet in our interface so that we can have a superficial overview of the contents. I mean, is it the first time that you've seen this type of topic? But not for you, Elena, I assume. Is it the first time that you've seen how to write a business letter, how to write a quotation, how to write a form, and all this type of business documentation? So I mean, the thing is that, I mean, in the material, what you have is some guidelines. Is like a kind of template, okay, a kind of skeletal structure of how to write a letter. Then the content of the letter can vary, so it's kind of flexible. Depending on the type of letter you want to write, the body of the text will be different. So for example, if it's a letter of complaint, so the beginning, the end, that's all the same, okay? But it's the internal structure that changes. You have, if it's a complaint, you have to write the complaint in the body of the letter, of the email, of the fax, or whatever you want to write, okay? Also, I mean, what type of business letters do you know in English? What type of, what forms of communication? Because one thing is like the format, okay, which is you can write a letter. Now with the new technologies, it's more common to write emails, okay, but then you can also write faxes. In some situations, I mean, letters they are not obligatory, but I mean, for example, when you receive a bill, you can opt, okay, and you can receive a bill through the post as a letter or a kind of e-bill, okay, or e-invoice, electronic invoice through the website, the company website or something like that, okay. Well, I mean, for example, in England, in the UK in general, it's very common to send letters, okay, even today. I mean, you can also write emails and all the like, but so I mean, could you please open the booklet, the manual of the unit, and let's have a look at the table of contents, at the index of the booklet, okay? So you can more or less get to know what type of writing you can produce. For example, as Elena is saying, a quotation. What is a quotation?
Budget.
Okay, it's not a budget.
No.
Okay, a budget is something different. It is translated the same in Spanish. A quotation. Do you know what a quotation is, Nuria? Quotation. A quotation is, there is a synonym which is estimate. An estimate of the costs. For example, you imagine that you need to hire a plumber. Okay, imagine you have a problem with a pipe.
Yes.
Con una tubería, okay?
Different is budget.
Budget.
In American budget.
But I mean, a budget is not a letter, for example. A quotation, well, a quotation is not really, it can be a letter or not.
Budget is
But what is a budget? But what type of, qué tipo de presupuesto?
No sé, todas las cosas que veo americanas, haciendo presupuestos de casa, de reforma, dice budget, no dice... es que,
I
¿sabes
mean,
que soy adicta a esas cosas? Y
But
dice
a budget, I mean, a budget is the money which is available to carry out a project. For example, you can have
estimate es cuando te lo dan todo detallado.
an estimate.
Vale, o sea,
Yes.
Mi presupuesto es de 30.000 euros, entonces me dice,
That's my
vale,
budget,
vale,
okay?
vale.
So the budget is the money that you have. Imagine that you want to travel, but you want to spend as little money as possible. You can use a budget airline,
Okay.
for example,
Vale, ya.
or a budget hotel. Budget in the sense of low budget, okay? Economy. So that's the budget is, for example, okay, I want to travel and I've got 500 euros. That's my budget. That's the limit, the money that I can use, okay? Or a company prepares budgets for the next fiscal year, for example, or the government prepares the general budget, okay, and distributes the money.
¿En americano se usa estimate?
That's,
Es que yo
yeah, you can also use estimate.
Es que lo de los
It's a synonym for
contractores
quotation,
siempre ponen...
an estimate.
Y sale debajo, dice budget, ¿cuánto?
And then a quotation is like a summary of the a summary of, if you want to carry out a project, that project costs some money. So the professional that you will hire will issue a quotation, okay, which is like, it's not an invoice, but it's like a kind of pro forma invoice, more or less, okay? It's not that either. Let me just look at, okay, Stefania is here. So a quotation, you know the meaning of quotation. Then we have, because the quotation is a reply. For example, if you need to contract a plumber, un fontanero, okay, so he or she will give you the quotation. Plumber. P-L-U-M-B-E-R.
Plama.
Plumber, without B, no B.
Vale, no, yo dije plumber y me dijeron que estaba bien.
No, but plumber is correct.
Plama.
Plumber, it's like some verbs, for example, the verb climb, to climb a mountain. It's not climb, or it's not climbing, it's climbing. So the B is totally silent. So, so the quotation, as I say, is the reply that you receive, but you have to write something before. How do you call that letter, that kind of letter that you have to write before? Yes, more or less, okay? Maybe anybody in the platform know? I mean, it's an inquiry. Inquiry. An inquiry, the verb inquire means to ask questions, okay? So it's not an application, which is something different, okay? Because solicitud can also be translated as application, but in a different context. Okay, so an inquiry is like a question. If you need to, I mean, for example, if you need information from your travel agency, you can go, or you can write an email to them and make an inquiry. Okay, let's share the screen. So for the people who are online, this is Antonio, Araceli and Beatriz. We're just having a look at the booklet for unit number 6. I'm sorry, I mean, I would have liked to have the projector working, but so as I was saying, I mean, so in section number 1 we have correspondence in English. Then in section number 2 we have quotations, we have letters. Well, a quotation, as I say, is the reply to an inquiry. Inquiry. You can write inquiry with I or with E. It has a double spelling. It can have two spellings. Inquiry with E or inquiry with I. I mean, there are a number of words with this optional, especially in American English. Anyway, so then we have 2.2, which is a letter of payment. What is a letter of payment? Okay, when you want the other person to pay, okay? So sometimes the first step is a letter of payment, but then the final steps are payment reminders, okay? So sometimes, I mean, imagine that you don't pay your electricity bill, so the company will try to, I mean, will send you letters and letters and letters non-stop, okay? So these are called reminders, payment reminders. So we will see examples in the activity, so don't worry. Then we have orders. What is an order?
When you want something to buy.
Mm-hmm.
In Spanish it's pedido.
Okay, it's exactly the same when you go to a restaurant, okay, and you request something, but this is in a more professional, okay, situation. So an order is just a list of the products that you want to request, that you want to buy from a company. Then we have forms. Forms are sometimes called application forms, or
application form, okay.
But form is even more general, okay? Because, for example, a form is well, I don't have any form in here. But what type of forms can you find in English? For example, you can have an application form.
Yes.
Can you think of a situation in which you need to write an application form?
When you want to look for,
Mm-hmm.
a job.
Okay, when you want to look for a job,
Make a
yes.
letter when you press presentation, no.
Introduce. When you introduce yourself. Okay. That's an application form, okay? Mm-hmm. Because you're applying for a job. Also, imagine that you go to your bank and you want to have a credit card. Yeah. Sometimes you need to write an application form, okay? An application form in the bank, or for example, if you want to go to a foreign university, so before you are accepted, you have to write an application, okay? So application is like solicitud, okay? Application form, impreso de solicitud. Sorry? Yes, that's the form. That's why I say, I mean, yes, application form or simply application. Then, for example, when you go to a hotel, or maybe not now because the receptionist takes your details, okay? But in the past, you had to write your details in a kind of...
But when you travel to other countries, you need to write an application for
For a visa.
For a visa.
An application for a visa, for example. That's a kind of immigration form, okay? Immigration. So as I say, the form is the document that you have to write. Then the function, so you have application form, it's a piece of paper that you have to write with your details to apply for something. For example, a registration form. If you want to become a member of a club, okay, or you want to join an association or something like that, you have to fill out a registration form. Not an application, but a registration. So it depends on the situation that you use one of the other words. For example, if you go to a shop or to a shopping center, you buy a product and then you're not satisfied, you can write a complaint form, okay, or a letter or a complaint letter, depending on the. So we have many types of forms: complaint forms, registration forms, application forms. What else?
Immigration.
An immigration form. For example, a claim form as well. Claim, which is not really a complaint, it's something different, but they are similar. You know the meaning of claim?
Complaint?
It's not exactly, because a claim
With M.
with M.
M.
In a claim, I mean the verb to claim means to request something which is yours, or something which, I mean, it has to do with your rights as a buyer or as a consumer. Or for example, imagine that you have I don't know, for example, this is very common in America. For example, when you don't have any social security, okay, in America, so you have to pay for your own doctor. Okay, so what people do there is they buy a health plan, a medical plan, okay, to cover visits to the doctor. But sometimes you have to pay the doctor in advance, and then this is yourself. Let me just. Okay. So, do you know how medical insurance works in America? Private, I mean.
Sí, pero.
Private medical plans.
Sí, me sabían que personas así privadas.
So sometimes in America, you have to pay upfront, and then you send a claim form to your insurer. Okay, imagine that you need to go to the dentist. So you go to the dentist, you pay, I don't know, $300, and then you send the bill plus the claim form to your company, to your insurance company. That's a claim form. It's not a complaint, because you're not complaining for anything. It's a claim.
Una carta para que uno olvide, como un volante.
Not exactly. It's not that idea. But it's, for example, when you travel at the airport, I mean, how do you call the area where you collect your baggage? The place where you leave your suitcases is the check-in desk, the check-in area. Okay, so you leave your luggage there, then you fly and you arrive at your destination. The first thing that you do, well, after immigration and all the like, okay, you pick up your bags. How do you call that area? That department of the...
Luggage complaint?
No, because it's not a complaint.
Luggage claim?
Claim. The baggage claim. Baggage claim. It's not the baggage complaint, because you're not complaining. You're just claiming what is yours. You know what I mean? Okay, then if your baggage is stolen or lost, then you can write a complaint. But a complaint is because you're not satisfied with the product, with the service. But a claim is not that you're not satisfied. It's just like a normal procedure, or in some companies. Not exactly. It's very difficult to translate. Very difficult to translate. I mean, I've seen that translated as so complaint form, como formulario de reclamación.
Sí.
Claim form, yo lo he visto traducido, creo que lo puse así en el manual, es como formulario de reclamo. But that's very Latin American Spanish, pero bueno.
Pero si tú vas de viaje y quieres coger las maletas, no tienes que hacer nada, te vas a hacer. No, pero la zona donde la coges.
It's called the baggage claim. Claim.
Se llama así, ¿sabes qué digo? Tú vas a recoger una maleta al sitio, pero se llama así.
Do you see the meaning of claim?
Pero no tiene nada que ver con un texto o una
No, but it's the same. I just wanted you to understand the idea of claim. Solo quería que entendiera un poco la idea de claim, que no es reclamar, sino es
Bueno, un hospital, ¿para qué te la dan? Te dan la factura y te dan esto, para que tú se la envíes a tu
aseguradora.
Con la cantidad que te cobran. Cuesta la cantidad que te cobra.
La factura, por ejemplo, la factura del hospital.
Es como reclamar el dinero que tú has pagado. Tú pagas 300 euros aparte, por ejemplo, y tu seguro te cubre hasta 150.
Claro, es reclamar, pero no en el sentido negativo.
Sí, ¿no?
O sea, no es reclamar de no estoy satisfecho con el servicio, es reclamar algo que te corresponde, algo que es tuyo. Es como reclamar lo que por derecho te corresponde. O sea, que en español es como reclamar también, pero es diferente. Una cosa es claim, otra cosa es complaint.
Una queja que es complaint.
Que es complaint.
Es un
en plan quejas, sí.
Es un quejarse, el otro está reclamando.
Vale. Ok.
Te quejas por algo negativo y te reclamas algo positivo. Te quejas por siempre cosas malas.
Okay. Good. What else do we have? Well, or for example, if you rent a car and you have an accident, and well, it's not a serious accident, but sometimes you write an accident report form, okay? And form. So as I say, form is a very common word in English. Un parte de accidente, or yeah, something. Or for example, in the hospital, a consent form before a serious operation. Okay, a consent, which is
in normal operation.
Sorry. In normal operations, you have to write a consent form. Un formulario de consentimiento, okay? In whatever operation.
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's continue. So then we have forms, and then we have section number 3, which is business documentation in English. So it's not letters, but that's a different type of document. So we have invoice and receipt. Do you know the meaning of that, Nuria? Invoice, receipt? Well, Nuria or Antonio, Araceli, okay, an invoice, factura, receipt. What is a receipt? Not exactly. It's the confirmation of payment.
In a shop,
You get a receipt. It's a piece of paper with the information, with the payment information of the transaction. Yes, okay. But we don't say ticket in English. Okay, so don't say ticket because ticket is something different. Yes. For example, it's very strange because we have taken the word ticket from English. O sea, que se ha cogido la palabra ticket del inglés, pero es que en inglés ticket no significa el ticket. Okay, for example, if you go to the cinema or you go to a concert, you need a ticket. Or if you, if you drive very fast and you're stopped by the police, you can be ticketed. Okay? So it's a penalty, a ticket, a penalty, a fine. Good. So we have invoice and receipt. And what about the word bill? Bill. For example, in the restaurant you have a bill, the restaurant bill. At the hotel you also have the hotel bill.
Invoice.
So, or bill. The thing is that in English we have, well, the official one is called invoice, okay? The one that you have to write is invoice. But then you have the word bill in English, which is kind of flexible. So bill in some cases means invoice, but in other cases bill means receipt. So for example, if you speak about the electricity bill or the gas bill, that bill means invoice. But if you speak about the restaurant bill, bill means receipt. Because if you go to a restaurant or to a bar, what you receive is not the official fiscal bill, it's just a piece of paper. Okay? So an invoice is different from a receipt, but the word bill can mean either of the two. So we have Araceli, una factura de compra. So, ¿lo entiende? O sea que invoice es factura, receipt es recibo, como un comprobante de pago. Y bill puede ser cualquiera de las dos, depende de lo que acompañe. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So what else? Good. And then we have section number 3.2, which is dealing with financial errors, and finally contracts. So we'll see some examples. So in this unit, what you have is all the information about how to write a letter. As I say, this is just like a template or the basic structure of how you should write a letter. But let's have a look at in page number 3, you have a kind of diagram of a business letter. We can have a quick look at that, okay? So we have optional parts, optional sections, but let's start with the essential parts, which are on the right side of the screen, okay, on the paper. So we have essential parts, which are, the first thing is the sender's address. The sender's address or the printed letterhead. For example, if you belong to a company, if you're writing in the name of the company, you can use like this kind of pre-formatted paper. Okay, so I mean something like this. This is the letterhead. Okay, with the logo and all the information. If not, you just write your details. Then we have the date. American version, British version, doesn't matter. The inside address. What is the inside address? Because we have two addresses here. We have the sender's address and then we have the inside address.
Sender address is the company who send the letter.
Okay.
Inside address is the other company.
Okay. It's it's the person or the company or the organization that receives the letter. But why is it called inside? The inside address. Inside. No, sender's address. We're here. We're here in this. Yeah, sender's inside address. We're looking at this, okay?
Inside and dentro.
Yes.
Ese es de dentro. There's another one. Se llama así.
But what's the logics of saying inside address? I mean, sometimes when if you have a letter, okay, if you have a piece of paper, and then you fold the sheet of paper, okay, then when you put the letter into an envelope, sometimes company envelopes have a kind of window, okay, so from the outside you can see the inside. Because, for example, imagine that you work for a bank, okay, and you need to write letters massively to your clients. You're not going to type or write the name of all the customers, okay? So you just use this envelope with a window, and then, okay, you need to write your customers' details in here, but then when you fold the paper, it shows you can see the interior from the outside. That's why it's called the inside address. Okay? But as I say, como dicen Araceli y Antonio, es la dirección del destinatario, a fin de cuentas. Okay? Fold, yes. F-O-L-D, like a folder. A folder. Okay, you're. Or, for example, to fold arms. To bend, yes, to bend as well. Yes.
Vale, pero me voy a tomar cosas más duras, ¿no? Vale, vale.
Bend.
Me acordaba de bend.
Yes, I mean, to me, fold is you fold something which is like very flexible, like paper, you fold your arms or something like that. And bend is, for example, more mechanical. Okay, so then we have, after the inside address, we have the salutation or the greeting. Okay, the greeting, there are many possibilities. So here we have dear sir or madam, because we don't know the gender of the addressee. We can also say dear sir / madam / which is a line. Okay, a slash. This one, a line. Barra, diagonal, okay? / Then we have the body, so we're in the essential sections. Body, so it's the text. Then the closing. The closing has to be coherent with the greeting, with the opening. So, for example, if you say dear sir or madam, we write yours faithfully. But if you write the name of the addressee, then we use a different closing, which is yours sincerely. Sincerely. In American English, they just invert the order. Okay, so they say faithfully yours or sincerely yours, or simply sincerely, without yours. Okay. So depending on what you write at the beginning, it changes. Then we have the signature and then the writer's name. This is the essential sections. Then we have optional parts. For example, the reference or the subject line. This is very typical in emails, but it can also appear in letters, which is like a heading or a title of your text. It's useful because it helps you recognize the letter, the content of the letter without reading in detail. Okay, so imagine if you in a chain of emails or in a chain of letters, you read the title, you read that reference, and you know the content. Okay, then we have enclosures, which are what in emails are called attachments, and then the copy notation, which is CC What is the, which is carbon copy, okay, carbon copy. So Martin Elliot and Louisa Talbot. Then we can also have BCC. So CC, which is carbon copy, and then we have BCC, copia oculta, that we say, okay. In English we say blind, okay. And finally, the writer's initials and the typist's initials. Do you understand this? The writer's, as I said, this is optional, okay? The writer's initials is the person who has you see what I mean? So, for example, if you're the manager of a bank office, you write emails or you write letters to your clients, but well, sometimes it's not you that write the letter.
Secretary.
Okay. Yes, you have a secretary. You say to the secretary that he or she has to write the letter. Okay. You design the letter in your mind. Okay. So you develop the idea, but then it's another person who really sits in front of the computer and type all the texts. Okay. So this is the basic structure. What you have after that is just the explanation of all this that you can read. Okay. As I say, the most important thing is in page, well, here everything is important, but if you want to have a summary, page 4 gives you the openings and the closings, which correlate, and you cannot cross them. Okay, so if you say dear sir, you have to say yours faithfully and not yours sincerely.
Okay. Me enseñaron como la S empezaba la otra la F. No sé.
So,
como Sir empieza por S o termina con F la felicitación. Eso me lo dijo en inglés, ¿verdad? Lo aprendí de ella.
okay, well, I know that there is a mnemotechnical rule.
Madame, excepción. Sí, madame, siempre va a ser con madame, siempre. Señor y señor.
Yes,
bueno, madame.
What you use for sir, you have to use for madam. I mean, the mnemotechnical rule that I learned from, as you say, from a native teacher, is a rule that says never two S's. Never two S's. Nunca dos S's. So if you say dear sir, you cannot say yours sincerely because you have a second S. Okay. So, and as you say, madam is an exception. Okay, madam goes with sir. So the same rule that you apply for sir has to be applied for madam. That's a mnemotechnical rule for you to remember. And then you have, yes. Yes. Yours. Yes, always yours. Yours. You have to write yours, yes. At least with faithfully you have to say faithfully yours. Sorry? The thing is that the punctuation depends on the style of who is writing the letter. So originally you have to write a comma. So for example, if you say dear sir, comma, then you type the text and then yours sincerely, yours faithfully, comma. So 2 commas. In American English, it's a colon. So dear sir and a colon, dos puntos, and then faithfully yours, comma. So the opening has a comma in British English and a colon in American English. The closing has a comma, always. However, what happens today is that sometimes punctuation is taken out, is eliminated because of style. So you can have letters without that kind of punctuation. Okay? Sorry? I don't see what you mean.
Cambridge.
You have to write the commas, yes. Because that's like the original rule.
It's British.
It's British English.
No,
but
never worked in America.
But you know what?
Never,
But
never.
okay, but there is something which is contradictory. Because we can say, we have to write commas, we have to write the full stop and all the like, okay? But for example, in abbreviations, imagine the word Mr. or Doctor or any kind of abbreviation. Do you usually write a full stop after the abbreviation? No, but you do in American English. Okay, in American English you do write a period, they say, okay? They don't say full stop. Al punto no llaman full stop, sino period. Periodo. Okay? So they write doctor, DR, period. Punto. So there is a contradiction because American English is more modern than British English, but at least in terms of history, okay? So, but it adds punctuation to abbreviations. But then in this question of letters, they try to omit all the punctuation. So,
like in Spanish?
like in Spanish. I think that this is more like yeah.
Russian?
Yes, normally you have to write this final punctuation mark at the end.
Chino, punto, con un círculo grande. Y si no es un fallo, también. Y no es un punto como nuestro, así punto, sino un círculo.
A circle.
Sí, mi amigo me lo dijo hoy. Digo, acá hay un punto y si no es un círculo. Y si no lo pones un fallo. Yo, Pero la coma es muy importante.
Okay, so we have letters. Then what we have is emails and faxes, which have a very similar format, okay? So we're not gonna look at that thoroughly, just you can have a look. And then in page number 9, you have the typical abbreviations in business correspondence, okay? So let's make a stop here and do some activities, okay? So in the activities are in the platform, and the people in here have a printed copy. So could you please do number 1 and number 2 as well? Have you finished? Number
Que,
one.
que no es así. La última parte. Entonces,
Ah.
yo imagino que las no.
Well, but I've got a copy for you here.
No sé por qué se las una cosa que no.
You can take this copy if you like, which is correct.
Sí, pero lo tengo para
Hmm.
la añadir.
Have you finished number one at least? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So number one, how would you begin a letter to a woman whose name you don't know? Dear Madam. Okay. And how would you end it? Yours faithfully. Okay. How would you begin a letter to a Miss Grady? Dear Miss Grady. Okay. Do you know how we say, how would you begin a letter to a Miss Grady? Why do we use that article there? Why, I mean, did you use something strange in here, in number 3? How would you begin a letter to a Miss Grady? To a Miss Grady. Why the article there? Do we use articles with names? I mean, with proper names of people? Not usually, not usually. Okay, but that's because it's something like, it's imaginary, okay? It's a fictional person. So, this is something like, bueno, ¿cómo empiezas una carta a un tal señor Grady? Okay, so if you want to speak like this, I mean, it can be a fictional person or a real person. So you can say, I don't know, imagine that you work as a receptionist in the hotel and you say, well, there's a Mr. Johnson over there. Hay un tal señor no sé qué que pregunta por ti. So it's like you're trying to distance yourself from that person, okay? And number 4, so if you start with Miss Grady, dear Miss Grady, you have to say yours sincerely. Number 5, how would you begin a letter to Miss Grady's wife? Mrs. Grady. And to their daughter? Okay. Miss Grady with MS. How would you begin a letter asking for a job application form in number 7? Dear says. Says. Sorry? Dear says. Say, but in the plural. Okay. Well, that's another possibility. Because if you can say dear sir or madam, because you don't know who you're writing to, or you can also use dear sirs in the plural as a collective way of addressing the company. Dear sirs, okay? And how would you begin a letter to your colleague Melanie? Dear Melanie. So you say dear Melanie directly. Vale, bueno, hubo un pequeño problema, se apagó el ordenador, pegó un apagón, así se cayó el sistema, pero bueno, se abrió otra vez, so we can continue. Let me just confirm because, okay, yes, it's recording. Okay, so we are in exercise number 2. I mean, it has different fragments of. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, now it should be correct. Well, I don't know if you saw my messages on the platform about the questionnaires. So, I mean, because I saw that so many people had not completed the questionnaires, I decided to give an extension of the deadline, okay? But only till the day after tomorrow. O sea que los que no hayan hecho los cuestionarios anteriores, que los hagan.
Y iba a ser ayer, pero como sé que el último día más, digo, lo iba a hacer antes.
Sí, no pasa nada, pero como entré y vi tanta gente que no lo había enviado, pues al final decidí que bueno, que para dar otra oportunidad.
Hice 2 o algo así.
Entonces he reabierto los del tema 3, el del tema 3, el del tema 4 y bueno, el del tema 5 que acababa hoy, pues también lo amplié ya de paso hasta el día 20. He abierto ahora mismo ya el del tema 6, pero bueno, no he puesto límite porque todavía estamos en progreso con esa unidad, entonces lo van haciendo conforme puedan. So let's see, okay? Let's see to A, and then we can do a listening to. Well, we can do number 2. Well, 2 has 2 sections, 2A and then 2B. 2A is the complaint, and then 2B is the reply to the complaint. So they are the same topic. Okay, so in number 2, okay, so what's the first fragment? Well, or number 2 if you like, okay?
The CD player.
Okay.
That above,
Okay, so it's the continuation. Okay, so I have had serious problems with the CD player that I bought. Okay, so that's number 1. Then number 2, to the wrong address. Okay. Number 3,
to the wrong address.
when I finally got it,
The CD
jumped.
When I tried to play them, I sent
The machine back for repair, and you kept it for 2 months. I got it back yesterday, but the machine still does not work properly. I'm writing now the number 4.
to ask for
Very good. To ask for a complete refund. A refund is when you claim your money back, okay? Plus an extra amount to cover the inconvenience that they have experienced. And then looking forward to hearing from you, which is the closing, and finally the yours faithfully. It's another type of close. So sometimes in letters we have or the closing has 2 parts, a closing line and a closing greeting. Okay, so the closing line is looking forward to hearing from you. That's the closing line, which means I hope to receive information or to receive a reply. That's the closing line. And then there is a closing formula or greeting, which is yours faithfully. Then we have this reply, okay, so the story is about a defective CD player, okay. So we have, dear Mr. Johnson, thank you for your letter of, what do we need there? 31st of March. So we need a date. Detailing the problems that you have experienced with your CD player. Unfortunately, we cannot consider your request for a what? For a refund, okay? Under the terms of the guarantee, we can only offer you a replacement. What a replacement? What is a replacement here? Yes. Okay. It's like I remember a replacement is something like it's the same it's the same product, but it's another unit of the same product, same brand and same everything. Okay. I remember when I when I was in England 3 years ago, I used to do the supermarket shopping online, the grocery shopping online sometimes, and they had a nice policy of they didn't call it replacements but substitutes. Okay, substitutes. A substitute is not really a replacement. Is, for example, you order something online. Okay, imagine that you order I don't know, cola of the supermarket brand, okay, but then that product is out of stock, so you receive a substitute, and you receive, for example, Pepsi Cola, but for the price of the cheaper one. You know what I mean? So I mean, I very much liked that policy of substitutes, of substitution. Because, for example, sometimes I used to buy olive oil, okay, but I tried to buy the cheapest one, the cheapest option. But then if that product was not in the supermarket, they changed it. And for the same price of the economy version, I got a more expensive one. So, as I say, it was very nice, very nice.
Estafando.
No, I mean, so
Engañando.
not exactly, but
Okay.
yeah, it was, as I say, really, really nice. So, okay, so we finished. Please return your CD player in its original packaging, okay, along with a copy of the invoice, and we will send you a new machine to replace it. And finally, we have yours, sincerely, because we have Mr. Johnson at the beginning. And finally, James Stevens, customer experience manager. It's also funny the way they call the customer department here. Instead of customer service or customer care, they say customer experience manager. But anyway, okay. Have you finished number 3 or? Yes? No? Okay, don't worry. Well, number 3 is also in the questionnaire. So we will not do it here, okay? I will not give you the answer yet, because it's exactly the same exercise in one of the activities of the questionnaire. But we're gonna do the listening in page number 7, okay? So I mean, this is a long set of activities, but we have today and we also have the class next week, okay? So, and if we don't finish everything, no, we don't have to panic, because we will have the answers in the platform anyway. So in page number 7 and page number 8, we have a listening, okay? So let's do something to finish, for a change. So listen to the dialogue between a freight forwarder and a customer asking for a shipping quotation. It's about a quotation then, about the estimate of something. And then say if the statements are true or false according to the conversation. Do you know the meaning of all this? Who is a freight forwarder? So we have two participants, 2 people, okay? The freight forwarder and the customer. The customer is the client, okay? And asking for a shipping quotation. What is a shipping? What is shipping?
Es sobre la flota, ¿sabes? El precio de la flota o del embarque, depende de lo que se es un presupuesto sobre un envío marítimo.
It's a shipment, okay, but not necessarily a sea shipment. Okay, we have to be careful with the word shipping, okay? For example, a shipping company is a transport company, it's a logistics company, okay? But we use the word shipping, but not necessarily meaning a ship. Okay, so for example, I don't know, UPS is a shipping company, or in Spain, Seur is a shipping company. What others do we have? Do you know more?
DHL.
Which one?
DHL.
Ah, yes, DHL or something. DHL, you work for that company.
1 year.
That's a shipping company. Customer service representative.
Yes.
Also, for example, FedEx is a shipping company. Okay. Why? Have you worked for FedEx or? Sorry. I don't know the story. So this, as I say, shipping does not mean, it means simply like sending and delivery of, For example, when you say if you buy through Amazon, you sometimes you have to pay shipping costs, shipping charges. But normally, I mean, you can receive the goods, the products by air, okay, or by surface mail, without touching any water, okay. So as I say, shipping does not mean, because it can be terrestrial shipping or ground shipping, okay, and not only shipping or air shipping, for example. And the freight forwarder is a shipping agent. Is a synonym for shipping agent, because do you know the meaning of freight? What's the meaning of freight? Cargo. Okay. It's a meaning of
express.
cargo. In English,
express.
you can say freight or cargo. Like, for example, if you go to the airport, to Gran Canaria Airport, you have like the passengers terminal, and then there is the cargo terminal. La terminal, no de cargo, sino de carga, okay? Or you have cargo trains. So freight means cargo. And forwarder means to forward, is to send, okay? I mean, to forward is to pass something. For example, when you forward an email, is you resend or you pass an email to somebody. So a transport company, I mean, the main function of a transport company is to pass something, I mean, to pass a product through, okay? So freight forwarder is something like, I don't know, como agente transportista, but or agente transitario, more or less. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know, because I'm not an expert in logistics. But freight forwarder is a shipping agent, I would say. Un agente.
I don't know.
Could be. It could be. Yes, you can also find freight forwarders at the customs.
This company give the goods in your home? I don't know.
I don't know. No, because it's a relationship between two companies, so they don't deliver things. I know that there are many differences, but well, I mean, freight in this context, freight forwarder is. I mean, this has been taken from a logistics book, okay, from an English for logistics book. So you will find it interesting. So we have true or false questions, okay. Number one, Carla Hansen needs a quotation for air freight to the United Arab Emirates. Number two, they want to ship cooling units to Abu Dhabi. Do you know the meaning of cooling? Can you give me an example of a cooling unit? Okay, but for example, an air conditioner or a refrigerator, these are kind of cooling units, okay? Then the consignment consists of 18 boxes. So look at this, because ship, can you see the word ship? The word ship means send, but by air, okay? So number three, the consignment consists of 18 boxes. The consignment is like the thing that is being sent, okay? Number four, they want to ship from Sweden. Number five, the units should be picked up on August the 6th, and Martin will call back within the next 2 hours, okay? So let's listen, and then you tell me if they're true or false. All these things, well, the audio tracks are also in the platform, so let me just open them.
Unit 5, Exercise 12.
IFT International Forwarders, Martin Smith. How can I help you?
Hello, this is Carla Hansen from Coolair, Sweden. I need a quotation for air freight to the United Arab Emirates. I've been trying to complete the online quotation form, but it keeps crashing.
Oh, sorry about that. We have had some problems with it recently. I'll see if I can retrieve it. You said your name was Hansen, didn't you?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, here it is. Well, it saved some of your details. We can go through the rest of the consignment details over the phone and I'll fill in the quotation for you.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Okay, let's start with the freight details. Could you briefly describe the goods you want to ship?
They're cooling units and they're going to Dubai.
Okay, so that's non-hazardous material. How many units do you want to ship?
15 boxes with a gross weight of 150 kilograms each.
Right, and the size of each box?
Each box is 170 centimeters high, 145 centimeters wide, and 82 centimeters deep. I think the volume would be about 30 cubic meters.
Okay, let me just check that for you. Hold the line. Hello?
Hi.
Okay, so the volume would be 30.31 cubic meters for the whole consignment. Where do you want to ship the goods from?
Stockholm, Sweden.
And when would you like the units to be collected at your premises?
On August 3rd.
Okay, got that. When should delivery be made?
It's very important that our customer receives the units on August 6th. Would that be a problem?
I don't think so, but I'll check. Do you have any other special requirements?
No, just that delivery date.
Okay, I'll get back to you with a quotation within the next 2 hours. Could you give me your telephone and fax numbers, please?
Yes, of course. My number is 0046 890 265 030 and the fax number is 0046 890 265 039 and my name is Carla Hansen.
Thanks very much, Ms. Hansen. I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. We will listen to it again, but because I want you to complete the second part of the activity. Okay. But let's look at the true and false questions first. So we have number 1. Carla Hansen needs a quotation for air freight to the United Arab Emirates. Is that true or false, according to the recording? It's true. Okay. True. Number 2, they want to ship cooling units to Abu Dhabi.
False.
You say false, but you say true.
Dubai.
It's false because it's Dubai. It's not Abu Dhabi. Okay. So there is a mistake. So not Abu Dhabi, but Dubai. The consignment consists of 18 boxes. It's false because it's not 18 but 16. They want to ship from Sweden. Yes, that's correct. The unit should be picked up on August the 6th.
False.
It's false.
It's delivered.
Okay, so the unit should be delivered on August the 6th. But when should they be picked up? Before, okay, before, but we'll see it again, so you will get the details in a minute. And finally, Martin will call back within the next 2 hours. It's true, okay. So now we listen to it again, and you can complete the missing details in the next page, okay. So the company name, the point of origin, destination, number of units, pickup date, delivery date. I mean, some of these details are also in the previous exercise, but you can copy them. So we'll listen to it again.
Unit 5, Exercise 12.
IFT International Forwarders, Martin Smith. How can I help you?
Hello, this is Carla Hansen from Coolair, Sweden. I need a quotation for air freight to the United Arab Emirates. I've been trying to complete the online quotation form, but it keeps crashing.
Oh, sorry about that. We have had some problems with it recently. I'll see if I can retrieve it. You said your name was Hanson, didn't you?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, here it is. Well, it saved some of your details. We can go through the rest of the consignment details over the phone, and I'll fill in the quotation for you.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Okay, let's start with the freight details. Could you briefly describe the goods you want to ship?
They're cooling units and they're going to Dubai.
Okay, so that's non-hazardous material. How many units do you want to ship?
15 boxes with a gross weight of 150 kilograms each.
Right, and the size of each box?
Each box is 170 centimeters high, 145 centimeters wide, and 82 centimeters deep. I think the volume would be about 30 cubic meters.
Okay, let me just check that for you. Hold the line. Hello?
Hi.
Okay, so the volume would be 30.31 cubic meters for the whole consignment. Where do you want to ship the goods from?
Stockholm, Sweden.
And when would you like the units to be collected at your premises?
On August 3rd.
Okay, got that. When should delivery be made?
It's very important that our customer receives the units on August 6th. Would that be a problem?
I don't think so, but I'll check. Do you have any other special requirements?
No, just that delivery date.
Okay, I'll get back to you with a quotation within the next 2 hours. Could you give me your telephone and fax numbers, please?
Yes, of course. My number is 0046 890 265 030 and the fax number is 0046 890 265 039 and my name is Carla Hansen.
Thanks very much, Ms. Hanson. I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
I mean, some of the information is repeated here from the previous section, okay? So what's the company name?
Cool Air Sweden.
Cool Air Sweden. You can also find this in the email address, okay? So Cool Air Sweden. Then the point of origin.
Sweden, Stockholm.
Okay, Stockholm, Sweden. Stockholm in Sweden. And the destination, as we said before, it's Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. The method of transport is air. The number of units, 15. Okay. The pickup date, sorry, August the 3rd, and the delivery date, August 6th, as we said before. So the 3rd and the 6th. The volume is 30.31 cubic meters. The total weight, okay, it's 150 kilos each. So it's 150 kilos times 15. Times. Multiplied. Yes, times. Veces. It's very easy in English.
Pone 115 veces 15.
Yes.
Vale, eso no sabía.
Times. It's funny, but well, you can also say multiplied by. Okay, it's but times is like, I mean, I like times more. So this makes a total. I've got the information here of 2,250 kilos is the total. Okay, 2250. Then you have the dimensions and the type of nature of goods. As we said before, they are cooling units. Cooling units. Then special requirements. Is it hazardous material or not hazardous?
No.
Well, it's non-hazardous. It's like non-dangerous. It's not dangerous material. And then other must arrive. So the woman insists that, please, I mean, the consignment should get to the destination by August the 6th again. Okay, so August the 6th again. So very good. It's 10 to, well, it's more than 10 to, so it's almost 5 to. But anyway, so we stop here, okay? So you have, I mean, you can practice the listening at home if you like, and we will do the rest of the activities next week, okay? If we don't have time to finish it all, as I say, it's not obligatory, but because I usually bring more just in case. Okay. Bueno, pues entonces les dejo aquí. Voy a parar la grabación.